best team out there and see if we can get it done and measure up.
Moving over to college hoops, number 14 Duke dominating Virginia Tech 50-23 at the half. Marshall Plumlee has 10 points and 8 rebounds. Later, it's Texas A&M and Tennessee at 1 Eastern, and Oklahoma State at number 17 West Virginia also at 1. Mountaineers only 1 loss on the season. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
This is KCAA.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is our New Year's gift to you. Circle this date, Friday, January 15th. You're invited to start the new year off right with a subscription to BuySellMakeOffer.com. Some other selling sites can be sketchy, and even others will charge you a fee on every item you list. But with BuySellMakeOffer.com, you can sell your washer, dryer, cars, or even your home with no per-item fees. And you can use Skype, make a video. You can actually see the person you're buying from, or they can see you, all to better sell your product. Wouldn't you like a feeling of security when you buy or sell? That's why we call it BuySellMakeOffer.com. And you don't have to wait until January 15th to find out what the buzz is all about. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and type in your email address so you'll know exactly when the fun will begin. The first 30 days are on us, and then it's as little as $7.95 per month to sell up to 50 items. Join the revolution in online selling with BuySellMakeOffer.com.
For the KCAA Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jim Rinaldi. For this morning, mostly cloudy skies, time to clouds and sun today with a stray shower, high 58. Cloudy with showers likely tonight, low 46. Mostly cloudy Sunday, there could be a shower, high 60. It'll be partly cloudy Sunday night, low 44. We'll have plenty of sunshine both Monday and Tuesday with highs each day 62. Wednesday sunshine, we can't rule out a stray shower, high 62. Partly sunny, maybe a shower Thursday, high 58. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA, 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. The stations that leave no listener behind.
Hey Di, do you know that many people have no idea that the Carousel Mall is actually open?
What? Do you tell them that that's where KCAA is located?
Of course, but there's more than just KCAA here.
Oh, I know. It's a totally great place for a girls' outing. Here at the Carousel Mall, there's Mega Beauty Supply.
And it's huge.
Yeah, the biggest beauty supply store I've ever seen. And they have wigs and extensions.
Then there's Backstreet Beauty Salon and Daniel's Jewelers, a store, by the way, for girls and guys.
Yes, and Nail Fashions where they do waxing and eyelash extensions. There's Lisa's Threading. You know, Mark, eyebrow threading is a big thing nowadays.
I do know about Mr. Yu's.
Yes, when you're ready for lunch, it's Mr. Yu's Chinese restaurant.
Best of all, Mr. Yu's is right next to KCAA.
Yes, all this located in the Carousel Mall, right off the 215, the 2nd and 3rd Street exit.
Come visit the Carousel Mall. We're open.
For more info, go to kcaaradio.com.
KCAA. If you're trying to prevent a home foreclosure, you need the Goodman Law Firm on your side. Goodman has a nationwide network of foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman Firm has resolved troubled mortgages across the nation. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Call the Goodman Law Firm, 888-800-6030, or contact them online at www.arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
Si usted está tratando de evitar que su casa sea hipotecada, usted necesita al Grupo Legal Goodman. El Grupo Legal Goodman consta de una red nacional de abogados, expertos en hipotecas capacitados para representarle durante el proceso de mitigación de su hipoteca. La firma Legal Goodman ha resuelto casos difíciles de hipoteca en toda la nación. Tome el control de su situación hipotecaria hoy mismo. Llame ya 888-800-6030 o contacte al Grupo Legal Goodman en línea arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
Hey there, sports fans. Chabdog here. You have tuned into one of the best shows on the air for all of your up-to-date sports coverage and news. You haven't laughed so hard and been informed so much until you've heard it from the mouth of the sports expert himself, El Chabdog.
All right. Welcome back to another edition of Chabdog Sports Talk on AM 1050 and FM 106.5 KCAA. The weekly sports talk show brought to you by Chabner Law Firm, providing transactional legal services to Southern California and other areas, and Chabdog Sports Blog for your ahead of your sports headlines, and also the Arnold Goodman Law Firm, providing mortgage mitigation legal services. If you have mortgage problems, you should talk to them, get a free consultation, and find out what your options are. They can help a lot. Well, Mike, welcome back. We had a 1 week absence from you in the studio. I hope you had a nice holiday.
Yeah, the holidays were busy, and nice to be back.
Yeah, it's one of the best times of year. I mean, I say that a lot, I guess, because sports is always going on, but right now when you have 4 great NFL games set up, and then the next week we're going to have 4 more games. And then college football's final games coming up on Monday
night.
So it's kind of like a dream come true for us middle-aged guys who love football.
Couch potatoes.
So we'll talk a lot about that. We've also got some tennis looming with the Australian Open. I know you're excited to hear about what's going on with that. We're going to have a tennis guest at the end of the broadcast, so that'll be good. And
golf got started this week with the Tournament of Champions over in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
I guess Jordan Spieth is 3 shots up at -16, so be interesting to watch that this weekend.
Oh, that'll be on. Will it be on CBS or?
I'm not sure.
It'll be televised. Obviously.
Yeah, it's televised. If not, it'll be on Golf Channel.
You have any predictions for this year in golf? Who's going to do well?
Well, there's a lot of young guns that you get the what they're calling the big three, the new big three. You've got Jordan Spieth, Jason Day, and Rory McIlroy. Tiger, it looks like Tiger's going to take the year off, which I could care less, but I just like to watch good golf. The what used to be the Bob Hope will be out in the desert in a couple of weeks, so I'll probably wander over there.
The Bob Hope Desert Classic.
Yeah, now it's called the CareerBuilder.com Clinton Charity something.
Oh, don't get me going on these names again. Yeah. It's like my rant area, just like you in those uniforms.
Yeah. So anyway, I always enjoy going out there and watching the guys hit it way farther than I do.
Mm-hmm. Not much going on in baseball. We had a trade for the between the Jays and the Nationals. The Jays end up getting Drew Storen, and the Nationals end up getting Revere. It's not exactly huge news, but it's one of the only things I could find. Revere's a pretty good player. And
yeah, it's kind of the time of year where after the winter meetings, everybody kind of mellows out and reevaluates, and you'll see some movement as we get closer to February. But it's only probably a month and a half away from pitchers and catchers reporting.
And the Hall of Fame had its inductions, and of course Junior made it in with 99% of the vote, and over 99% of the vote. I'm not sure he deserved a higher percentage than Ty Cobb, but he deserved to get in. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. I mean, his career was phenomenal.
Didn't have 3,000 hits.
No, but he had over 600 home runs.
Didn't hit 300.
Had over 600 home runs.
And he didn't win a championship.
Well, he played for the Mariners, so.
Yeah, they had some talent during those. They came close. And you can't hold that too much against him, but and he didn't. Yeah, he didn't. He was hurt a lot. I mean, it's kind of amazing. He had 630 home runs given all of his injuries.
Well, it used to be a great trivia question. There were 2 guys that had over 700 home runs. Obviously, Babe Ruth and then Hank Aaron. But for the longest time, you could ask the question. There's only one player that has over 600 home runs and less than 700. And do you know the answer to that question?
Well, Willie Mays had 660.
Yeah, Willie Mays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's no longer a relevant question.
Well, but it could be relevant in the terms of the steroid era. Because now you got a bunch of guys that hit over 500, and it's kind of questionable that they were using performance-enhancing drugs. So It's interesting that the Hall of Fame
doesn't mean as much, that number 600. I mean, it still to me means a lot, but
actually 500 is the number.
Find it. Yeah, there are a lot of people now at 500.
Yeah, 500 is actually the number that used to be the milestone, and for pitchers it was 300 wins.
Well, any of the people that didn't get in that you feel strongly were slighted. I mean, I could go through the list here: Jeff Bagwell, Tim Raines, Curt Schilling, Roger Clemens, of course Barry Bonds. Trevor Hoffman. Those are good names.
Trevor Hoffman would be the one that jumps out at me. Because even though he was kind of a specialist as a one-inning closer,
he did it well.
Exactly, and
he didn't play for a good team.
Exactly, half the time he was playing on a team that was in the basement of the West. So yeah, Trevor Hoffman, he made a career out of throwing that. What he called a changeup. I don't know what it was. It had a nice dip to it.
But he threw hard, too.
Oh, yeah. He threw hard.
And he had great control. That's what I remember
You
about
ever seen the legs on that guy? He's got tree stumps.
He's a horse, huh?
Oh, yeah. He's a big dude.
Well, I always say pitchers have to have good legs.
Well, you got to run, and you got to work out. And, yeah, you use your legs a lot more than most people realize, because if you don't use your legs, then you tear up your arm.
Yeah, I like Curt Schilling a lot. I mean, I love the way he came through in the big games and won those titles. Maybe his overall numbers weren't up to snuff exactly, but I think he should get in eventually.
There's been some controversy around Schilling, and so that might be why the writers maybe kind of
wasn't it business stuff. It wasn't related to baseball. It was just other things.
Yeah, there was some controversy. Remember the bloody sock and all that?
Yeah.
There was some controversy. I'd have to research it and go back and figure out
what was wrong with the bloody sock.
I forget.
Oh man, Red Sox haters are always coming out of the woodwork.
I think he went and saw the same doctor that Bonds went to or something.
Well, the Baseball Hall of Fame is just it's a tough place to get in. I think it's the highest bar, and
Piazza,
Piazza deserved it.
He's not a guy that would jump out at me,
but he was a catcher and he had great numbers.
Right, exactly. So when I went and looked, he actually has the most home runs ever by a catcher. And I thought it would have been somebody like Yogi Berra or Johnny Bench, but it turns out that Piazza, and even though towards the end of his career, he played a little first base and that, but he had a nice long career. He played 6 years with the Dodgers and 8 or 9 years with the Mets.
Yeah, he had great hands, like the way when he swung, he kept both hands on the bat, and it was just he just cracked his wrist and the ball went.
Yep. Strong forearms. Not the greatest guy at behind the dish.
No.
Decent receiver, but I think he only threw out like 15% of base stealers.
Yeah. That's interesting, because catchers are almost usually they're there because of their defense, and this guy was the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you used to have a catcher that called a game. Nowadays, it comes from the bench, so you don't really have to have somebody that's a good thinker. You just got to have somebody that can block the ball, and if you can throw out 50% of your runners, then that's a good number.
So I want to know, before we go to break, does Clemson have a chance?
If I was a betting man, I would say no. They have a chance. I mean, it just depends on how the flow of the game goes. But I think Alabama's defense will put a kibosh on their running quarterback from Clemson.
Yeah, if they can control Deshaun Watson, it's over.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm going back and forth on that, but I think Alabama's going to win.
I think Alabama. So we're going to break, and you're listening to the Chabdog Sports Talk on Kcaa 1050 AM and now on 106.5 FM. We'll talk to you in a minute.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
Check out my sports blog, your home for head-of-ear sports headlines. At Chabdog, we cover the world of sports, from NFL to competitive eating. At our blog, you'll also find Chabdog's own brand of uniquely original blogcasts for the major sports events. We hit home runs with our coverage. We also have a reading room where you'll find interviews running across the sporting spectrum, along with our vote questions, our Chabdognostications, and of course our much-beloved Chabdog of the Month. What you can count on from Chabdog is our stretching the playing field envelope to find the humor, irony, and weird connections that are always living beneath the surface of the sporting world. Check us out at chabdog.com. The law office of Brandon S. Chabner, serving clients in Southern California with transactional legal services since 2007. We handle general, corporate, outside counsel type work, drafting and negotiating a wide variety of business and commercial contracts, including non-disclosure agreements, independent contractor agreements, and employment agreements. Our experience includes working with public and private companies and involves a broad range of industries, including healthcare, consumer products, real estate, and high technology. Mr. Chabner has over 20 years of legal experience, having worked for some larger national firms and serving as general counsel for a multi-million-dollar private company here in Southern California before starting his own legal practice. His educational credentials include a law degree from UCLA, where he was on law review, undergraduate degree at Yale, where he graduated magna cum laude, and an MBA from Harvard Business School. Other areas of focus for Chabner Law include press release and business plan editing, pre-litigation matters, and debt and mortgage resolution work. You can contact us at 310-698-0740 and at bchabner@chabnerlaw.com.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
Okay, we're back with more Chabdog Sports Talk. All right, well, let's welcome our first caller in. You know what this music is, Mike, don't you?
It's got to have something to do with the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, we plan on singing this a lot at the Skins blogcast on Sunday. Right, Ron?
Is this B-Man?
Yeah, B-Man. I'm sorry, B-Man. I keep forgetting.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just trying to control myself until we start this playoffs. I woke up early. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm 10 years old again. What about you? Are you excited, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, this time of year is always fun. You know, the first 2 weeks we get to watch plenty of games, and then it whittles down to the Super Bowl, which is always too much hype for what it's worth.
Yeah, Ron's excited, right?
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
B-Man loves the Redskins.
B-Man's got to get his. You got to get that table, okay? That primo table at Summers. That's where we do our broadcasts. Is Summers Sports Bar in Manhattan Beach. And,
good time.
It should be packed, hopefully. You know.
Yeah, I was just in Las Vegas, and the Redskins. It's pick 'em against the Packers, so nobody's favored.
Wow, pick 'em.
Well,
hopefully they won't let me down.
That tells me that the Packers are favored by 3 because you always get 3 for being at home.
Okay, well, I think the Rodgers factor is just too much for people they got him in the back of their mind. But if you look at the statistics, this year, Kirk Cousins, our man, Captain Kirk, is almost as good this year, particularly at the end of the year. He's so hot. Play that little clip, Kirk Cousins, and see if you remember this, Ron.
You know what, big boy? You're grown up. You're grown up.
What movie is that from, Ron?
I couldn't quite.
You couldn't
I
hear
couldn't
it?
quite hear it.
He's all grossed up. Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah, Swingers.
Swingers.
That was a good one.
Yeah. That's one of our movies. He's kind of, he seems like he's learned a lot and he's maturing.
Who's going to be running the ball for the Redskins? Because Jones is out, right?
Alfred Morris.
Yeah, I think Morris will be there, and I'm also excited about the Maryland Terrapins basketball.
Yeah, Maryland. They're ranked 3, I think.
Number 3, and they got this guy named Crystal Stone from Wisconsin. There, he's the rookie freshman.
What's his name?
That was going to go. I think his name is Crystal Stone. His father was a ball player.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure basketball, but a couple of professional sports. And he's from the Wisconsin area. And right out of high school, people were upset he didn't go to Wisconsin. But the Terrapins got him, and he's going to be a superstar, I think.
Yeah, Maryland was good last year, and so they just made themselves stronger, I guess. They got Mello Trimble. He's an excellent player. He's their star, I think. And and then I don't know all the other players, but they just look really athletic. They're tall guys, and they all jump like crazy. And they're pretty good. But I did see them lose to North Carolina, so I don't know. I think they're just gonna be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd much rather watch a college basketball game than a pro game.
Yeah, brings back all those memories because Ron, Mike was a college basketball star at what was the school?
Yeah, I played in 2 games at California Baptist College on emergency. The basketball team was down to 4 players.
They raided the basketball.
They raided the baseball team. Yeah. Any of you guys ever play high school basketball? Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get back to the get back to the Redskins. So I've seen the Redskins on TV a couple times this year. Don't follow them real close, but based on what I've seen from the Packers in the last handful of games, do you have a pass rush? Because if you do, I got some game film that you should watch. Because the Packers O-line sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like a sieve.
Well, for me, the Redskins, it always comes down to I can pretty much tell how the game is going to go from the first couple offensive snaps. If they are in first down play action mode or something creative, then that's going to be a good game. It's when they run Morris right up the gut on first down that disaster happens. So I just hope, my fingers are crossed, that they come out with the first down pass and get into that mode, because then they can just move down the field. That's when they're creative and rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see,
Stay out of 3rd and long. But, yeah, in terms of, they got to keep Rodgers in the pocket, I think, and force him to run it up the middle if he has to escape. But, yeah, I've seen a couple of games where Rodgers, looked like he should be on a gurney getting carted off. One game he got sacked 8 times.
He just hasn't had enough time. But I think the key is the Washington offense, because I think it's got to be working, and I wouldn't trust Washington to win in a low scoring close game. So Kirk Cousins, you're right, Ron. He's he's better when he's doing play action, when they're mixing it up and they're not predictable. But Alfred Morris is a really good runner if they can use him in the right spots, but just not when it's almost don't run when you think you're gonna run. They're gonna run.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I bet on your Steelers. I hope they come through. I did some parlay action with them.
Oh, so you have like a Steelers skins
parlay?
Steelers skins parlay and the under. I would think that the Seattle game is going to be a frigid. I would think so. It's going to be a frigid time, and they would have trouble scoring in the Seattle game.
Yeah,
but sometimes conventional wisdom is not the way to go.
Yeah, they're predicting that it might be as cold, if not colder, than the Ice Bowl, which was the all-time coldest NFL game ever played at -18.
Wow.
So
I read that fitting the players with special underwear for this game. So I don't know if they've got
Tommy John underwear.
What you remember back in the day when Joe Willie used to wear pantyhose?
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that.
He used to
also
wear
walked
pantyhose
around in his mink coats, and he's kind of a little on the.
But he wore pantyhose because it kept him warm.
I don't know what the right word is, but anyway,
Okay.
He was very much of a dandy.
He was a showman for sure.
Yeah.
So other games, you mentioned Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. I do like Pittsburgh. Cincinnati doesn't have the redheaded stepchild at quarterback, so I think that that bodes well.
I don't know. That might be a good thing for them because he's been their quarterback for the last 5 or 6 playoff games, and they've fallen on their face. And McCarron's a well-trained game manager.
Yeah. And then you got Kansas City and Houston.
That's the first game today. Yeah, we'll talk about this too with Eric. And
okay.
But I guess the best way to do this, Ron, is to bet on as many games as you can. Just maximize your.
Yeah, well, tell me about that when I bet on Oregon.
So, are you gonna watch the games today?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the games today, and I do have that long-term bet on the Redskins to win the Super Bowl that I wasted a couple dollars on at the beginning of the year, so that's still alive.
What kind of odds did you get on that?
That was 120 to 1. So
wow.
Unfortunately, I didn't put any real money on it.
Yeah, you should have at least put
a couple dollars,
$20. But I bought a lot.
I was going to say
120. Yesterday it was 30 to 1 40 to 1 for the Redskins to win the Super Bowl yesterday in Vegas, but at the beginning of the year it was 120 to 1. So
yeah. Did you put
a little,
Did you put any money? Did you put any money down on the Powerball?
I did.
I did, yes. Actually, I stopped in Baker. There's that lucky market there
in Prim
in Baker, this little dusty little town. That you go through.
I had an order from my client who shall remain nameless. I had to go do it.
Yep, Baker, the home of the world's tallest thermometer.
I love Baker. Baker's where they have the Mad Greek restaurant, right, Ron?
Yes.
Have you ever been there?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is. And actually, one of my sons wanted to drive on the back roads there just to see what was there. And they do have a Park Avenue in Baker. And it's got, a couple of trailer homes or whatever. But there is a Park Avenue in Baker, and I was amazed to see that.
Yeah, we love Baker.
Yeah, Baker. It's
Ron and I have done that drive to Las Vegas many a time.
Oh, yeah.
And, just you have to have your sunflower seeds ready and plenty of caffeine and, I don't know, just relax.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can't get your hair cut in Baker, I found out. I wanted to get a haircut just for the heck of it. I asked somebody, where do you get your haircut here? And they said, basically there's nowhere to do it, but there's a guy that works at, the repair shop that cuts everybody's hair in town. So I think they need a hair cuttery. If anybody's some hair cutters listening.
Hey, Ron, do they still have the Bob's Big Boy there?
It is. I don't think it's still open. It's there, but it's not open. No. I think it was called the Bun Boy.
I thought it was Bob's Big Boy, but
no. You're right. It was a Bun Boy.
Oh,
it's not functioning anymore, but it's still there. If somebody wants to revive it, the shell of the place.
Yeah, we had that in Maryland. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Rockville Pike area.
Still around, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Bob's Big Boy.
It was. You know what that looks like, right? It's the
Bob's Big Boy. Yeah, there's one on my way out from here or from the desert to here.
If anyone can send me a picture of that, I'll find it on the internet.
There's one in Norco. They revived it a little bit, but they didn't do too well.
All right,
Ron.
But
for people driving home from Vegas today, or to and from, I hear there's long lines for that Powerball.
Because it's up to like $1 billion or something.
Yeah, they showed the place at Prim right over the California border.
Yeah,
where the Nevada casinos are. And
right.
Yeah, there's that one little convenience store, and they had lines, like 3-hour wait.
Well, Ron, thank you for being our guest. It was short and sweet, and we're going to have a good time on Sunday, right?
Yes, absolutely. See you. Looking forward to seeing you then.
Okay. All right.
Good luck to your Redskins.
All right.
Thanks a lot. All right.
We're going to go to our break. We'll be right back with Eric, the well-read Sauve.
This is Chabdog Sports Talk on KCAA Radio, 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
Check out my sports blog, your home for head-of-ear sports headlines. At Chabdog, we cover the world of sports, from NFL to competitive eating. At our blog, you'll also find Chabdog's own brand of uniquely original blogcasts for the major sports events. We hit home runs with our coverage. We also have a reading room where you'll find interviews running across the sporting spectrum, along with our vote questions, our Chabdog Gnostications, and of course our much-beloved Chabdog of the Month. What you can count on from Chabdog is our stretching the playing field envelope to find the humor, irony, and weird connections that are always living beneath the surface of the sporting world. Check us out at chabdog.com. The law office of Brandon S. Chabner, serving clients in Southern California with transactional legal services since 2007. We handle general, corporate, outside counsel type work, drafting and negotiating a wide variety of business and commercial contracts, including non-disclosure agreements, independent contractor agreements, and employment agreements. Our experience includes working with public and private companies and involves a broad range of industries, including healthcare, consumer products, real estate, and high technology. Mr. Chabner has over 20 years of legal experience, having worked for some larger national firms and serving as general counsel for a multi-million-dollar private company here in Southern California before starting his own legal practice. His educational credentials include a law degree from UCLA, where he was on law review, undergraduate degree at Yale, where he graduated magna cum laude, and an MBA from Harvard Business School. Other areas of focus for Chabner Law include press release and business plan editing, pre-litigation matters, and debt and mortgage resolution work. You can contact us at 310-698-0740 and at bchabner@chabnerlaw.com.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Okay, we're back for the second half of Chabdog Sports Talk, and Eric Sauve is our next guest. Eric, you on the line?
Hey, welcome Chabdog and Mike to one of the most exciting weekends in the football year.
And as background for this, we've got some jungle music here. You hear this?
Yeah.
Are the Steelers going to take a run through the jungle like they usually do and just slash and burn and kill everything?
Well, I'll give you my prediction in a moment. I think you're going to like it, Chabdog.
Okay. Well, where do you want to start here? We have four lovely games to look at.
Well, do you want to save the best two, the Pittsburgh and Washington, for last, and do the KC and Houston and Seattle game first?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, that would be
okay. Let's come out. So let's take KC and Houston to begin with. So I want everyone to know. Okay, well, first thing, last week my lock, which was Washington, came through. That's 4 locks in a row.
He is
So
he is the locksmith.
Yep. So this week, when I give you the lock of the week this week, you can move on this game as if it's already been played.
Yeah.
Now, back to the Chiefs. I want everyone to know it's been 22 years since the Chiefs won in a playoff game.
Mm-hmm. And you know who was at that game?
Oh, jeez.
I was at that game. I was there in
Really?
person. Yes, because I lived in Houston for a while, and my wife's family is from Kansas City, and they came down for the game, and so I was with a bunch of drunken KC fans partying while Joe Montana took advantage of the Oilers. Yeah, and you know who else was at that game? O.J. Simpson.
Who?
O.J. Simpson. He drove by.
The Juice himself.
I shook his hand, actually, because he drove by in this limo and opened the window down, and I said, "Hey, Juice." And the guy's hand is like twice the size of mine.
Yeah, did the glove fit?
Sweet.
No wonder the glove didn't fit. Okay, I don't want to digress. Go, keep going here.
Okay, well, it's 20 years since they won. They got a couple of no-name running backs, Sharkandrick West and Spencer Ware.
Right.
You know? But they are on a 10-game winning streak. They did beat Houston back in week 1, and that's when they benched Hoyer back then, and then Houston went on a skid for a while until they got back in order. The nice thing about the KC is they allow only 12.8 points per game in the defense. They play really well. On the other side of the ball, unlike last year where they had no wide receivers catch touchdowns, Jeremy Maclin has caught 8 this year. And for the last 9 games, Alex Smith has thrown no interceptions. Now, you balance that off against Houston, where you got J.J. Watt with 17.5 sacks. You got JaAndre Hopkins with 11 touchdowns and 111 catches. And you got Clowney, who's relatively healthy tomorrow, and he's coming in with 4.5 sacks.
Okay.
He's not up to 100%, but he's.
I saw he was
if he
questionable.
were, my goodness, yeah, he's questionable. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to go with the Texans tomorrow, but
yeah, I am too. But it's
just,
not.
My pick here is you got to go with KC because if nothing else, and Coach Andy Reid has never lost a game against the Texans.
What's the line?
It's KC -3.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty fair line. I think you.
Yeah, the Texans are kind of an enigma to me. I mean, I know that they supposedly have this very strong defense with J.J. Watt with all his sacks, but it seems to me like there's been times when they've gotten run over and given up a number of points.
Yeah. I think they're more. They're kind of like a big play defense because J.J. Watt can really destroy a team single-handedly if he's in the right situations. But overall, I don't think that they can stop KC enough to win this game. So
agreed.
And you mentioned the running back West, and he's had some decent games. I mean, he had to take over for what's his face, Charles.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the Minnesota game. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
Okay. A lot is being made about the cold there, and playing in the cold, and Seattle won't show up to play in the cold. But I've seen so many warm weather teams. In fact, we can go back to a game I think I saw in '82 when Dan Fouts and the San Diego Chargers traveled to Three River Stadium in Cincinnati and played in a game.
You mean Riverfront?
Sorry, Riverfront. Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. You're right.
Yes.
Riverfront Stadium, and played Cincinnati. And Cincinnati had every reason going for it back then why they should have won. Well, Dan Fouts and San Diego won that game.
That was one of the coldest games. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that was the era of Eric Coryell. When they just threw it and then threw it. The thing going against the Sea Pigeons is they don't have Marshawn Lynch. He's out. And they don't have Thomas Rawls, so they're down. I really don't see much of a running game unless they want to let their quarterback run all over the place and maybe get hurt.
Well, that's what Russell Wilson does is he scrambles.
Yeah, that's exactly what he'll do. He'll be the running back tomorrow.
Right, exactly. So he's your only hope for a run game.
So Eric, can you talk me into taking Seattle?
Well, actually, I'm personally taking Seattle, but I think what I'm going to tell you next might talk you out of it, and that is that the line opened up Seattle -6 on the road. And now it's down to 4 to 4.5, depending where you shop. But if you look at the money line, the majority of the money is still going on Seattle. So normally when all the money goes on Seattle, that brings the line down. There's money's going on, no one's taking Minnesota. So Vegas is actually changing the line for their purposes, which tells me that Vegas is expecting Minnesota to either win outright or do a backdoor cover and keep Seattle from covering 6.
I just can't. I go back and forth on this.
I'm taking Seattle, but that being said, Vegas, their activity, they're taking Minnesota.
What's the over-under?
I don't have it at my fingertips.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I predict it's going to be probably a pretty low-scoring game.
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree with you too, and especially in the cold there. But what do you think, Chabdog?
Based on what I saw, I just can't. I want Minnesota to win, but I just can't see it happening because I think Seattle's got too much leadership and they've come too far, this year to just lose to a team with a kind of a questionable passing attack. And
a second-year quarterback who wears those wimpy gloves. No, I'm with you. I'm taking Seattle, and I don't care about 6 points, but just be warned.
All right. Well,
Vegas is saying. Okay.
Let's move on to the prime course, the main course here. What about Washington and Green Bay?
Okay. Kirk Cousins in his last 8 games is 72% passing completions. Deshaun Jackson is on defense, is on fire. You got Chowder, Reed, and Garcon catching a lot of balls thrown their way. But they're not they're a young team. They're not as good as they look. And on the other side, Green Bay, they're 4-7 in the last 11 games, but they're not as bad as they look.
Yeah.
That being said, the Skins will beat the Packers tomorrow, and that is my lock of the week. Mortgage the house, sell the children because you'll be able to buy them back. Green Bay has allowed 47 sacks this year.
Yeah.
47, the most of any team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And here's another little tidbit. If not for that Hail Mary against the Lions in Week 13...
They wouldn't be in the playoffs.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
They wouldn't be in the playoffs. This game wouldn't be happening.
What's the line?
Tomorrow.
What's the line on that?
It's vast. It opened at Washington -1. I think now it might be either even or Green Bay -1, depending where you shop. So it's basically a pick'em game.
Yeah. I got to go with the Redskins because even though they haven't beaten a team with a winning record this year, did you know that that place is going to be electric, and the crowd's not going to let up.
We only got a couple more minutes, so let's get to the game that Chabdog wants to hear about.
The game of the week here. What's going to happen? What do you think? Because they don't have D'Angelo Williams, and so they're not going to have a running game. Makes me very nervous.
No, but they've got Antonio Brown, they got Marcus Wheaton, they got Martavius Bryant, and they got Big Ben.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh scores an average of 35 points per game. Okay, and Cincinnati on average lets up 10 points per game. But they're starting A.J. McCarron. In fact, I hope they do. Dalton does come out and try to play. That would be even better. But even with McCarron, and McCarron, he's lucky if he passes for 200 yards a game. So it's Pittsburgh. I don't see this is a no-brainer as well.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh's won this game against Cincinnati before. I think the last 2 times.
Over and over again. Yeah, and if they shut down Antonio Brown, they'll bring in Marcus, and shut down Marcus, they'll bring in Martavius.
What's the
cornerbacks? You look at the cornerbacks. They got Antoine Blake, and Brandon Boykin, which they switch back and forth between running and passing. That's going to be, I think, look at the cornerbacks tomorrow. That will be the difference in the game, is their performance.
What's the line on that game?
It's Pittsburgh 2.5.
Not much. Well, all right. I'll say my Hail Marys, and I gotta think Pittsburgh's going to slip through on this one. Then we'll see what happens. But I've got a gut feeling this might be Ben's next Super Bowl here. So.
No, take confidence. It's going to be Pittsburgh by 10.
Yeah. All right.
And they're going to win walking away, and won't even be that close.
Based on what your predictions are, what do you think the matchups are going to be next week moving into the divisional series?
I get that up.
Yeah, I don't know the rankings in terms
Well, it's going to
of-
be, I think, Denver and Pittsburgh if Pittsburgh wins, and because Pittsburgh is 6, and then New England will play Kansas City probably. Eric, we got to go, but thank you so much for being our guest, and I'll see you next weekend when you're in town, and you're going to be in the studio here. So
all right, we'll
Be in the studio with the two. Looking forward to it, and hey, keep in mind my pick for the Super Bowl: Redskins versus Steelers. You heard it here.
All right, that's a lock from Eric, the well-read Sauve. All right. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Chabdog Sports here on KCAA 1050 AM and now on 106.5 FM. We'll be right back.
If you haven't been listening to Chabdog Sports Talk, here's a little bit what you've been missing. Highlights from October and November for Chabdog Sports Talk.
Got some great shows for you. We're going to start out with the October 31st Halloween show. Here we go on the Halloween show.
The Halloween show, 10:31. Very difficult golf course. The wind blows. 3 afternoons. The last 4 holes are a brute. Joe, did you get our first guest on the line? Yeah. So we're, So anyway, it was a fun time. I mean, there was 32 guys up there playing at 2 mixes. It's going to be crazy at City Park tonight with Halloween and everything. Joe, let's bring in our first guest. Get that little cute up there.
Yeah, some Rush.
Hey, Peter Evans.
Peter Evans.
How are you, man? The voice from Canada. Love the Rush introduction, my friend. I know you would. I actually saw Rush on a couple of their first tours when I lived in Toronto. I had a chance to be backstage. So Are they the most beloved rock band in Canada? I think probably.
You better believe it.
They are such a statement, for Canada. They just, so well known, so prolific. They still tour today, and they're just an unbelievable success story. A lot of fans around the world. My co-host Mike Patterson, say hello, Mike. He loves Rush.
Don't get Mike started on Rush.
Peter, Rush to me is.
Mike, control yourself.
I've seen them probably 30 times. Mike loves Rush. And had I known you back in the day, and you could have got me backstage, that would have been
Mike is a groupie.
because I'm a big Rush fan.
You're a groupie, Mike.
He's what, 64 or something like that right now? Yeah. And he is the greatest drummer ever. I mean, a lot of people talk about John Bonham, but no, I think Neil Peart.
Hey, Mike, this is a sports show, remember?
One drummer ever. And they're 3 great musicians, and they make great music. Quite frankly, everything is overshadowed by hockey. Yeah. I think that, that there's put on a good effort, on the football side locally, but, outside of the, south of the border, I don't think anybody's ever seen a single game on there.
E-Digits. Lock 'em in for more information, recreation, and guaranteed fun. KCAA.
Okay, we're back for a final segment here of Chabdog Sports Talk. All right, a little tennis. It's time for some tennis. We're going to break up the football discussion and bringing in Marty Salakas. Did I pronounce that right?
Salocas. Yeah, but close enough.
Okay.
No one ever gets that one right,
Yeah. Anyway, Marty is a friend of Orlando Mule, who has the pizza and Italian restaurant joint. That's the blog. A proud sponsor. I'm proud to say they're a sponsor of my blog, and met Marty there. He's a tennis pro, right? And you
absolutely.
Did you play college tennis at Santa Barbara?
I played at Marymount College, which is here in Palos Verdes, and then at Santa Barbara, I was working at one of the country clubs in the area, kind of working with some players on tour at the time.
Oh, okay. And Mike Patterson's here. He's my co-host. And
hello. I don't know squat about tennis.
Yeah. Well,
that's all right.
And Marty, you so you're a tennis pro. You teach a lot of. You work with a lot of. Is it high school kids that end up becoming stars in college?
We work with all ages. I like to get them, as young as we can, train them as much as we can, and then send them off to college. That's usually our goal. Then them going pro, it's great. But yeah, it's been good. So.
Yeah. So who's of all the people you've coached? Who's name a few that have in terms of what the kind of things they've done. Maybe some of the higher profile ones.
The bigger one now, her name is Beatrice Rosen. She's playing over at Emory. She's playing in her last year. She's an All-American, playing great. Some of you may know her brother, Josh Rosen, who is the current quarterback at UCLA. So I had the pleasure of working with both of them. So I think Josh actually playing at UCLA is probably my fault. I think I was his last coach before he left. So all the UCLA fans out there, you guys are welcome for that one.
Yeah, I went to UCLA. I'm a fan, so thank you. And
oh yeah, for sure. This kid's gonna be a rock star.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. That's great. So, when did you play pro at all? Like as a making that your living for a while, where you're playing tournaments, winning money.
I tried honestly, but I was making more money teaching tennis, much more than I was being out there on the road traveling and stuff. So. People underestimate the expensive, price tag that comes with playing tennis. But you're traveling nonstop. You got to pay hotels, entry fees. Rackets break. It's $25 to get a racket restrung, and it's a costly sport to travel that much. So I was doing well teaching, and I fell into it, and it was a blast. So here I am, still doing it 25 years later, almost.
So when you say you're a teacher, are you at a school or are you just independent?
I'm independent, and I also work for the Palos Verdes High School. So I coach the girls team over there, and then I'm my own as well.
Okay, and then
I also work with the USTA doing Southern California teams that travel and stuff like that. So
okay. So when you talk about trying to get kids into college, I know my son, when he went through the process as a baseball player, nowadays it's you got to send in videos and all this kind of stuff. Is that part of what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. As the kids get into their junior year, we do a lot of recording. Up until then, we do a little bit of it, but more in junior year, we want to show, how versatile they are, and do a little video. We usually put it up on YouTube or something under a different name, so that our opponents can't go and scout our video. But yeah, that's a big part of it, and helping the kids really pick the right schools and kind of say, look, here's a team that you can realistically make, or maybe it's worth it just for you to go to this school to get the good education and play on the club team and stuff like that. But it's been great. Some kids, they're really excited to go play, and they're willing to sacrifice going to a top school so that they can compete. And, some kids vice versa. They just use tennis to get them into a good school that they might not otherwise have a chance of being in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how do you like what do you think of the state of junior tennis? And I've heard from some people that a relative of mine started to get into it and found that it was just too competitive, that the kids weren't friendly. There was a lot of backstabbing and just that it didn't sound in some ways like a very healthy environment. But then again, I guess your students, did they tend to have really great things to say about it?
You get a big balance of it. There's some kids where, they really get brought up, by the parents being the coach and, this is what we're going to do. And, it's not a team sport. So you can kind of really develop your own way of training and your own, feeling about, how to, get to the next level and progress your game and stuff. So I think one of the things we always try to do is make the game fun. If the kid doesn't want to be there, then they're not going to put in their full effort. And if they're playing out of fear, then you're really not going to get the best out of them,
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the brattiness and stuff like that, it's tough because kids feel like they get cheated and a ball lands on the line and someone thinks it was out, and then there's no one there to really calm them down. There's no coaching in the middle of junior matches. So, the kid's kind of out there by themselves for a couple hours, kind of going through the, mental and emotional turmoil of, playing a match. But, we say tennis is the closest thing to boxing. It's two players locked inside a cage, and they're just going to go at it until someone falls.
Yeah, it's warfare. It can be very psychological.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the underestimated parts of tennis is the psychological part of it.
Yeah, and then you play beach tennis too. Talk about that. Is that getting more popular?
Yeah, beach tennis is it's a great game. I found it back in 2006, 2007, right around there. There was a tournament that was kind of going around the country, and they came out to California and they said, "Hey, you guys want to come out and play some tennis on the beach, and we'll give away $10,000 in prize money." So we went out there and played it and absolutely loved it. I know a lot of the guys in the area started playing that. It slowly grew, and now there's permanent courts in Santa Monica. There's permanent courts in Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach. I know there's some people playing down in Long Beach and San Diego. But, yeah, it's a great game. It's basically a combination of tennis, volleyball, and badminton mixed together.
Oh.
But you can check it out on YouTube. But it's a great game. Now they play all over the world. There's over 100 countries involved. We're making a push for the Olympics soon. It's already in the Pan American Games. So it's big. It's really getting there.
And you're one of the top. Are you one of the top ranked guys in the United States in that?
Yeah, I was until this year. I didn't really have a lot of time to travel this past year, so my ranking kind of dropped. But yeah, I was on top of the American rankings for probably the past 6 or 7 years or so.
Well,
we've got a lot of good players coming up now.
I guess if I want to see that, I'll go to YouTube and type in Marty, your last name, Salakas.
You can type in beach tennis. You'll find a lot of videos from Europe. I mean, Italy's kind of where the game originated, so you'll see a lot more advanced play from over there. But they're playing everywhere: Brazil, Russia, Italy, Spain, France, everywhere.
Okay.
So.
Well, let's go to the Australian Open a little for your insight on that. Do you have a feeling that Federer is going to finally win that elusive next major?
It's really tough to say. This is Djokovic going for his sixth. He wants to be up there with Roy Emerson as the kings of Melbourne Park.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It really is. I mean, there's Nadal to French. Wouldn't it be nice to say that Djokovic's home is the Melbourne Park? But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough to beat him.
Federer seems very strong, still very comfortable. I think I saw him take apart Dominic Thiem, who's about 12 years younger than him, and just the same. He's got that rhythm, that great serve, and he just keeps the points pretty short. But there's some other players that are looking good. I saw Bernard Tomic. He looked pretty good in one of the warm-ups, Brisbane, I think, and he lost to Raonic, who has that huge serve and could. But how do you go against the top two guys?
Well, that's what I'm excited to watch. I think Federer and Milos Raonic are playing in the finals. I think at the Brisbane today or tomorrow. But that's going to be a great match to watch, just to see if Federer is ready for that kind of timing and stuff. And Federer is always a wild card to win. I mean, he's a favorite, but I mean, he plays so smooth, and you're right. He keeps his points really short. He plays really efficient. And I think what he does a great job of is mixing up his game to play against his opponents. So I was talking to some of the guys. I said, is it Djokovic or the field? Who do you take? And most of the people I feel like are still leaning towards Djokovic. But, if Andy Murray's feeling good, he can step up there and do it. Stan Wawrinka won this a couple of years ago. He could do it. Nadal, for me, is kind of on the outskirts now. I think, his forceful play, I think, is taking a toll on his body, I think. But, Nishikori's playing well. Berdych is playing great. I mean, John Isner, here, so he could do it.
We're out of time. We're out of time, so thanks for being our guest, Marty. We'll have you back for more tennis discussion in the future.
Anytime, Chabdog. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. NBC Sports Radio Update starts now.
The Dolphins have hired their new head coach. I'm Keith Irizarry. So the Fins have agreed to a deal with Adam Gase, making him the youngest ever head coach of Miami. It is Miami's 9th coach since 2004. The Eagles, they have requested an interview with former Giants head coach Tom Coughlin. The Giants are interviewing Doug Marrone today. Moving over to the game action, Wildcard Weekend, it starts this